All right, number 9, which expression is equivalent? You know, what you could do is you could actually take a random number and plug it in for x and do that for each answer and see what you get out and see if you get the same thing. You could do that. Another thing you can do is factor it. If you look at 4x squared minus 9, and then you got 6x squared plus 9x. 4x squared minus 9, if you can actually factor that, that's a difference of squares. Now, this may not be something that you learn in class, but a difference of squares is when you have two terms. So again, we have two terms here, and you're subtracting them, and each one of those terms is a perfect square. So 9 is a perfect square, 3 times 3. 4x squared is a perfect square. That's 2x times 2x. So what you're going to do is factor it, and you can factor it by setting up two parentheses, different signs. And what you're going to do is you're going to plug in the square root of 9 here, which is 3, and the square root of 4x squared, which is 2x, and you plug that there. It's factored. Now on bottom, you look at 6x squared plus 9x. That's not a difference of squares. 9x is not a perfect square because x is not squared. 6x squared is not a perfect square because 6 isn't a perfect square, and we're not subtracting them either. So definitely not a perfect square, definitely not a difference of perfect squares. And what you can do is you can factor out a greatest common factor. So look at 6x squared and 9x. You can actually divide out a 3 and an x. Divide a 3x from 6x squared, you get 2x. Notice if you take 3x times 2x, you'll get 6x squared. Okay, so right now we factored out 3x, we have 2x there. Divide out a 3x from 9x and you get plus 3. So that's factored. And the last thing you do is you can basically cancel out what you have top and bottom. So you can cancel that out, and your final answer is 2x minus 3 over 3x. D.